Glad to see you clicked on the link for the part 2 of the Sundarban A to Z guide. Everything you want to know about Sundarban before visiting Bangladesh. I will not waste your time with introductions, I did that in the first video. So let's just get right into it and talk about all the other spots in Sundarban that you might want to visit other than the Kotka Kochikhali tour experience. There's a bunch of other spots in Sundarban you could visit other than the main tour, and there would be no end to it if I want to talk about each of them separately. So I'll only talk about the specific few I have been to or the really popular ones. First off is the Harbaria ecotourism spot. You can get here by engine boat from Mongla, or if it's included in your main tour package. It will cost about $10, and this spot is famous for two things. One, animal watching. Birds and crocodiles, this is the place you want to see them. Secondly is the artificial pond. The pond is located at the end of a hanging bridge. The bridge is situated over a small narrow canal, and there is a small pier at the edge of the pond, and inside the pond there is a small resting spot with a golpata shelter, kind of like a natural gazebo. The tourists who go there usually rest at this spot or on the benches surrounding the gazebo. Inside the muddy water of the pond, you'll be able to see baby crocodiles and even adult ones, and trust me, there are some weird birds around, and by weird I mean just look at this. It's called a madantak, which literally means a dumb bald bird. Yeah, I know, the naming isn't really original, but hey, it's funny. They live up to their names though. These birds are really dumb. You'll see saltwater crocodiles sunbathing in this spot, and these birds will for some reason go and pick them. I don't know, they probably don't even know what fear of life is. Monkeys, deers and other kind of wildlife also frequent this place, so you'll also be able to see them, you know, the usual stuff. One thing I forgot to mention is this eco park has an entrance fee which is about $15 for foreigners. So if you're coming to Sundarban just to visit this one place, which I do not recommend by the way, then the total cost will be somewhere around 25 to 30 bucks for foreigners. Next up is Hiron Point. This place is also known as the Nilkamal, and it's one of the go-to places for local tourists in Bangladesh. The name Hiron Point means deer point. Hiron means deer, so you could probably guess this place is filled with deers, specifically the Chitra deer species of Bangladesh. This is also a sanctuary, so it's kind of like a safe haven. The animals know they will be safe here, so you'll probably not have any trouble seeing wildlife in this place. A few kilometers away from Hiron Point, there is another watchtower in a place called Keurashuti, like the one in Kotka. This is usually used as an observation post by the rangers and tourists. Remember one thing guys, anywhere there is a watchtower, you'll probably see tigers there. Not because you know human frequent there, but for some reason they'll just like to come and hang around the place. If you're lucky, they might even come within 10 to 30 meters of the watchtower while you are up. Don't get nervous, they'll just leave after a while, but I promise you, you will feel fear and excitement, happiness, sadness and so many other emotions at the same time. This is one of the highlights of the Hiron Point or Kotka Watchtower experience. I forgot to mention it before, but you know, Sundarban tigers, I just had to mention it here. There is a resort where you can stay overnight at the Nilkamal Ranger Station. You don't have to worry about security or safety, but the comfort level is questionable. It's inside a jungle, you see. However, it is more comfortable than staying overnight on a boat, but I think experience-wise, the boat is better. It's gonna give you better value for your money. Last time I went there were no entrance fees to this point. However, you have to contact the local authorities. If you contact an agency, they will do it for you or the tour guides, but just keep in mind, some documentation is necessary. One of the few publicly accessible and inhabitable places inside Sundarban would be Dublar Char. This means Dubla Island. Char in this case small island inside a river. This place is situated in the junction of the Kunga and the Poshur river. quite isolated, but it is home to a fisherman village. In fact, this place is known for catching and drying fish. After the Hilsha season is over, fishermen from all over the country would send their fish here for proper drying and then send them back to their own companies. You will be able to meet fishermen from all over the country. They usually stay here for 4 to 6 months. It's a nice place, highly recommended. Every year during the Bengali month of Kartik, which would be November, the people of this island perform a Hindu festival called Rashmela and Punnashanan. Some say this festival is over 200 years old, but from official documentation I gather it was started in 1923. Either way, it's quite an amazing experience. I've never seen it myself, but from what I've heard, the festive mood is really amazing. Devotees from all over the world, even India, come here for the Rash Purnima. Purnima here means full moon, and for the anniversary of Samudra Snan, which literally means sea bath. After watching the beautiful sunrise in Dublar Char, the devotees flush various kinds of fruit into the water, and some of them even play musical instruments and sings religious songs. It's a folk festival, and if you see it yourself, it's one of those moments that you can't help but spontaneously participate in all the singing and dancing with all the other devotees. It doesn't matter what your faith is or which country you're from. It's a festival, so if you see it, enjoy it. The way to get here is by boat. You can hire it from Mangla. The night accommodation, most people don't stay here, but if they do, they can ask the locals if there is accommodation available. I doubt you will be able to get one though. So the other option is to stay at the resort in Hiron Point or Kotka, or if you're there on a tour package, then I'm guessing the engine boat will provide night accommodations. If you think that all the walking through the forest, muddy paths and waterways is not for you, but you still want to visit Sundarban, don't worry, we got you covered. Another place to visit inside Sundarban is called the Karamjal Wildlife Sanctuary. In here, unlike the other sanctuaries where you can see the animals in the wild, they have specific enclosures for crocodiles and deer. It's actually a breeding base for deers and crocodiles. Saltwater crocodiles, which were almost considered endangered at one point. This breeding base has helped a lot into bringing the numbers up. This place is also relatively closer to the Mongla port, and you can get there within an hour if you hire an engine boat at the port. After getting down, you'll see a zigzagged wooden path, so you won't have to walk in forest trails anymore. This path is called the monkey path. You will literally be walking with rhesus monkeys. For some reason, whenever human tourists are there, the monkeys like to walk alongside humans. Maybe for the food. Although I heard the rangers there don't like humans feeding the monkeys in case the monkeys get used to tourists giving them food, thus becoming too lazy to scavenge their own. However, I don't think this rule is that much enforced. There is also a watchtower in this place where you can go up and see the horizon, and just like other watchtowers in Sundarban. Surprisingly, even though with the enclosure and high volume of human tourists, tigers still like to come near this place, and you might actually get a chance to see them here. Of course, the risk of being eaten is close to zero compared to the other watchtowers, so there is nothing to fear. Another interesting piece of tidbit I'd like to share is the star crocodiles of this enclosure. For some reason, they named the two Romeo and Juliet, and then they named the daughter Pilpil. Do they have a heartbreaking, bittersweet love story that will even make angels cry? I have no idea. The last two places I'd like to mention are sea beaches, starting off with the Jamtola Sea Beach. Some people say this is actually a part of the Kotka Sea Beach mentioned earlier, but other people say it's a completely separate sea beach. I don't know who's drawing the lines, but hey, I do know it's more sandier than the Kotka Sea Beach. You'll also see a lot more tourists compared to the next sea beach I'm about to mention, and there's a good reason for that. It's less secluded, and the rangers there who will guide you usually advise against going in the water and just see the scenery, but in my experience, absolutely no one listens to that, and accidents don't usually happen. It's a bit far from Mongla, about 100 kilometers, and after getting down from the boat or steamer, whichever way you want to go there, you will usually have to walk through a well-traveled path, so it's easier than jungle trekking, but still isn't such a part of human civilization that animals don't go near it. You'll see monkeys, boars, and deers. Don't go near them though. Oh, another thing. It is said that tigers also frequent this path whenever humans aren't there, but this is usually a rare phenomenon, and a tiger has a very distinctive scent. If there is a tiger near you and you are not standing upwind, you will absolutely smell it. Just don't run. Listen what the forest rangers say. Nothing is going to happen if your luck isn't too bad. There is nothing distinctively special about Jamtola Sea Beach other than its sandier nature. However, it is a nice place to visit, and it's nearer to Kotka that we mentioned before. So you can go from Jamtola Sea Beach to the Kotka watchtower and from there see the tigers without risk of being eaten. So if you have a chance, I definitely recommend you to go there. If for some weird reason you're not accessing Sundarban through the Mangla port and you are going there from Satkhira, which is another district inside the Khulna division, one of the three districts where Sundarban is situated, then don't worry, I also have you covered. The tourist infrastructure in Satkhira is not as strong as that of in Khulna. However, it does have one place I would like to recommend to you guys, which is Mandarbaria Sea Beach. Even in Bangladesh, most of the local people probably don't know that a sea beach in Sundarban called Mandarbaria exists. First, you'll have to go to Satkhira. Then from there, you have to take a bus to a river port called Nildumur. From Nildumur Ghat, you can take a rowboat, a speedboat, or even an engine boat according to your preferences. It's about 75 to 80 kilometers from that ghat or port to Mandarbaria Sea Beach. This area is so secluded that you probably won't see another tourist other than yourself. So if that's what you like, then go for it. Travelers in Bangladesh who know about this place usually call this the beach for the hardcore Sundarban lovers. Otherwise, people usually don't go here. However, this beach is actually a sandy sea beach, about 8 kilometers long. In no way is it inferior to the Jamtala or Kotka sea beach. In fact, in my opinion, it's even better. Even if you're coming to Bangladesh not for a Sundarban tour but to see the sea beaches in Coxbazar, then if you have the extra time, a day or two, I suggest you also visit this place. It will make for some good pictures. For a Sundarban tourist, it's a bit of a hassle, so I would obviously recommend you to go the Mongla port route. However, if you accidentally find yourself in Satkhira and you want to visit Sundarban, then go for it. Don't be afraid, there are less tigers in this area. Well, there you have it, folks. This is the complete Sundarban travel guide in Bangladesh. I have put way too much in it. If you guys think I should have made it more bite-sized, then please comment below. I'll try to make the future videos more digestible. I have put way too much information for one video, I know. But what the heck, man. I just want to make an A to Z video and I just made it. I'll probably be making other specific videos about the specific tourist spots, and believe me when I say there are a lot of them. I only mentioned like what, 8? There are like over 30. So it's a broad, vast topic, and my goal is to kind of film the locations next time I go there and then make videos from there. It will be more entertaining and convincing and not like a thesis paper like this one. I'll be putting some of the relevant links down below, so if you guys want to see through them, then go ahead. Please tell me if the video was informative enough, because that was what I was going for. If you like this kind of content about Bangladesh, generally tourism in this country, then don't forget to give my channel a subscribe and press that bell icon. Like this video because it will really help this small channel out with the algorithm. There is only one thing left in this video, is I'll just be mentioning some quick tips that you must keep in mind when going to Sundarbans. First, before going into the forest, buy some medicine. If you're not sure what kind of medicine to buy, ask your agency or guide, they'll give you good recommendations. The ones I recommend are medicine for fever, bruises, this includes ointments. You should also take medicine for malaria and cholera. On the topic of taking medicine with you, secondly, I'd like to mention that take mosquito or bug repellent. This is huge. do not go inside the forest without this. They will make your life hell if you go there during the wrong season. Third, choose your agency or guide wisely. I will not be naming any agencies in this video because I'm not sponsored, nor do I want you guys to think that I am sponsored by one. However, you will be able to find some good recommendation on TripAdvisor or Lonely Planet. I suggest you guys visit those forums for a quick information checkup before coming to Bangladesh for a Sundarban tour. Contact them beforehand and just try to make sure that they don't ask for too much money before you come. An initial deposit on the total amount is fine, but if they ask you to send the full amount, just reject. It's probably a scam. Fourth, always listen to what the forest rangers say. It is imperative that you do not wander off into the forest alone without the protection of the rangers, because one, you might get actually eaten by tigers, no joke, and two, there are a lot of poisonous snakes, so tigers will be the least of your worry. Not to mention the bugs, bees and spiders. If you lose your way, it will be really hard to get back on your own, so the rangers recommend you carry some kind of horn or signal with you. I don't know if you can keep walkie-talkies. If it's against the law, you'll have to ask the local guides. Fifth, in this country, international tourists are quite rare. If you don't count tourists from just our neighboring countries, tourists coming from America or USA or eastern parts of Asia, people don't get to see them very much, so they will gawk and stare at you, maybe even form a crowd surrounding you. Don't feel threatened, that is a normal behavior here, and if you get to know them, the people here are really friendly. If you lose your way in big cities, all you have to do is just stand there, take out a map, and there will be a bunch of people, good English speaking people, coming to you and showing you the way. Make your own judgment in that kind of scenario. It's something that you won't see much in India, but this is one of the things that some tourists get really scared of in Bangladesh. No need to be scared, no need to overly trust the locals either, just make your own educated decisions. Sixth is regarding the time of the year you should come here. This really depends on your preferences. So in Bangladesh, there is a tourist off-season and on-season where everyone just flocks to every tourist spot during the on-season, and during the off-season, the rest of the year, those spots are just left abandoned. If you want to enjoy a quiet atmosphere, a nice serene experience, not overfilled with crowds, then come to Bangladesh during the off-season, which is usually during the summertime. The cost might be a bit cheaper or might be a bit expensive depending on the location you are going. On the other hand, you can visit Bangladesh during peak season. While you might not be able to experience the same kind of serenity, I think most embassies advise against coming in Bangladesh during the off-season, so you might want to keep that in mind. The last thing I would like to mention is that before even coming to Bangladesh, you should talk to the embassy first. They will give you a variety of recommendation and good advice that might really go a long way. In India or Sri Lanka, you might just be able to take your family and hike the entire trip, but in Bangladesh, because the tourism infrastructure is so much weaker, even though there are so many amazing places foreigners should visit, you can't really do the same. So be prepared. Always take your passport and visa with you, any kind of identification. Let your embassy know after coming to Bangladesh that you are here. They will check up on you in the future after your planned itinerary is over and you're still not going back. I'm sure they can give you other tip much better than me. Keep that in mind. For this video, I'll be ending it now, and I will see you guys next time. This has been Tirtho from Art Sanctum signing off.